This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
FM 89.9 KMOJ. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Walter Q. Bearbanks Jr. got you on the afternoon drive, and Little Moments Count. That's right, Little Moments Count. Letting you know it's been in partnership with Little Moments Count. It's been in partnership with Little Moments Count and Minnesota Public Radio and KMOJ Radio. It is a statewide collaborative that focuses on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years of one's young life. Nearly 80% of the brain growth happens in the first 1,000 days of a small moments of interaction like walking, talking, playing, reading, singing, and the list goes on with that part of physicalness within itself. And let you know, if you like more information, you can always visit at littlemomentscount.org. And on the phone line, I got none other than Mr. Brandon Jones. I'd like to say good afternoon, and how are you feeling?
Good afternoon. I'm feeling well. How are you?
About 6'3" and chilling on the real side, For the listening audience, can you give us just a little bit about yourself and what got you in this area when we're talking about dealing with youngsters and youth?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Brandon Jones. I am the executive director of Minnesota Association for Children's Mental Health. I have a therapy background. I used to be a clinician myself. But honestly, what got me into doing this work was just how I grew up. I grew up in a household of trauma and drama, seeing like domestic violence as a kid. And as I got older and I got into therapy and psychology, I knew that it was important to invest in the earlier years of young people and helping them develop so that they have better outcomes than the ones that I have or the young people that I grew up around.
So now when it comes to you and your studies and your works within itself, why is it that they say that within the first 3 years of a child's life, they are considered a critical period in the brain development?
Yeah, well, mainly because nearly 80% of the brain growth happens in the first 1,000 days. Now, that sounds like a lot of days, but that time goes by really quickly. I mean, we're talking about between 3 to 5 years old. Most of your brain is already done developing. So those small moments, those interactions, things like playing, talking to your children, reading books, singing songs, dancing, sharing meals, all those things are very vital and very important. It helps to create pathways that build a child's brain during those earlier stages of life, and it really sets them up to have a beautiful future.
Now, when it comes to that, how does the rapid growth in the brain during that time influence the child's future when it comes to their learning and their behavior?
Yeah, because those patterns they're picked up on. Parents are mirroring patterns, and they're showing what's right from wrong, what's hot and cold, what's good and bad. And they're really building on the foundation for that child to navigate and understand the world around them. It's really building the child's worldview very early. So it is very important because you are really cementing how this child's going to navigate what's safe, what's not safe, what's good, what's bad later on in life, and giving them skills early, they can perfect them as they go.
Now, what are some of the misconceptions when it comes to a parents that when they, think about working with the youngster, with the youth, that at an early child age, when it comes to that development of the brain itself and that aspect of it?
Yeah, I think some of the biggest misconceptions is that children are blank slates. They don't understand anything, and the things that happen to them early don't affect them later on in life. And we know that it does. We have enough research now around resiliency, around trauma, that when children have a lot of adversity early on in life, it affects their physical health, their mental health, their spiritual health, and their physical and how they develop their social health as well. So it's important that we establish good, healthy dynamics early on in the child's life, because it will prepare them for how they will navigate, and it can have a detrimental impact if we don't later on for them as they grow into young adults and eventually into adults and citizens.
So what are some things that parents can do when it comes to that motivation and motivating their youngsters and their youth on a daily interaction on a consistent basis that helps them with that growth and that learning?
Yeah. The best thing you can do is be attentive to your child, give your child a lot of encouragement. Encouragement to a child is like water to a plant. They need it, and they need it from those who they see every day, who they love, not just the folks who are on the screens that they play with, but the parents, their caregivers, their siblings, all those folks. Giving that young person encouragement, they do something well, give them a high five. It's very easy when children do things the wrong way that we yell at them, we correct their actions. But when they do something right, pausing, giving them that attention that they need, being intentional to let them know that they worked hard and they did a good job, that goes a very long way. Don't be afraid to play with your kids. Don't be afraid to, sit on the floor with your kids, get on their level, look them eye to eye, and give them those words of affirmation that they're doing things right. And even when they don't do things right, let them know that they're trying and to keep going so that they know it's okay to make mistakes and that part is part of growth as well.
And how important is to elevate that 4-letter word love in everything that you do when it comes to that youngster or that youth?
Extremely important. The love language of a child is attention and care, and you have to show that. You have to be attentive. You have to show. Love is more of an action for children than a word. You can tell a child that you love them all the time, but if you don't show it, they don't feel it. So it's very important that we do it.
No doubt. If by chance I missed a question or two, is there anything else you'd like to add?
The last thing I would just like to add is let's pay attention to our babies. Our babies need us more than any other time. They have so many other distractions and things that are grabbing at their attention. It's very important that we invest in them today because it will have a huge impact on their future tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, no question about it. Little moments count. None other than Mr. Brandon Jones. I'd like to say thank you very much for locking in and keeping us in the know.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Take care, Twin Cities.
No doubt. It's FM 89.9 KMOJ, and letting you know that you can, if you like a copy of this recording, you can always go to littlemomentscount.org/podcast, or you can lock in at Little Moments Count by visiting the website at littlemomentscount.org. It's FM 89.9 KMOJ, no doubt about it. It's the People's Station.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.